My parents bought my sister a brand new house for her graduation, then tossed me a gym membership and laughed like it was the punchline to a great joke. I stormed out, furious. But a week later, karma showed up. She managed to gamble the entire house away. When my sister strolled across that stage, beaming with pride as she clutched her diploma, you'd think she had just discovered a cure for cancer. My parents were over the moon. Clapping like maniacs, tears running down their faces, acting like she was some kind of national hero instead of just another college graduate. Everything about that day revolved around her, like always. And just when I thought the celebration couldn't get more lopsided, they dropped the bombshell. They handed her the keys to a brand new house. Meanwhile, I was still sitting there, holding the sad little envelope they'd given me just minutes earlier. A gym membership. I blinked, waiting for the punchline. Surely this was a warm-up to something more meaningful. But no. Dad elbowed me, grinning from ear to ear. "Thought you could use it," he said, cracking up like he was on stage at a comedy club. My mom chimed in like it was the deal of the century. "Oh, it's such a steal. We even paid for the first 3 months," she said, smiling like she'd just gifted me a yacht. Across the room, my sister squealed with delight, holding the keys to her fully furnished, sleek little house in a nice neighborhood, all paid off, of course. I felt the heat rising in my face. I looked down at that gym membership card in my hands, then back at my parents, who were still chuckling like this was some kind of sitcom. Like my place in the family was a running gag. Right then, something inside me snapped. I pushed my chair back hard enough for it to screech across the floor. The room fell silent. "Wow," I said, my voice calm on the surface but shaking underneath. "A whole house for her, and a gym membership for me. Ha! Guess I forgot I was just the background character in this family." My mom gave me that tight smile. "Oh, don't be so dramatic." "Dramatic?" I let out a bitter laugh and shook my head. "You know what? I'm done. You've got your golden child. Go ahead, keep worshipping her." And just like that, I turned and walked out. Left them there, frozen in place with those shocked looks on their faces. Not one of them tried to stop me. I spent the next few hours driving around with no real destination, just gripping the wheel tighter every time I replayed what happened. Dad's smug little grin. Mom waving me off like I was being ridiculous. And my sister looking all proud and smug, like she'd known all along how this would go. This wasn't anything new. I'd always been the forgotten one. Growing up, my sister got everything handed to her on a silver platter. A brand new car at 16. A full ride through college. Constant praise like she was the second coming. Me? I was lucky if they even remembered my birthday. I wasn't the star athlete, or the straight-A student, or the bubbly daughter they could brag about at cocktail parties. I was just there. The dependable one. The one they didn't have to worry about. I don't even remember how I ended up back at my apartment. It was a tiny place. Half furnished, nothing fancy, but I paid for every inch of it with my own sweat. No handouts. No shortcuts. Just me grinding day after day while my sister lived like some kind of princess. I dropped the gym membership card onto the counter and stared at it, jaw clenched tight. They actually thought this was funny. I let out a slow breath and shook my head. Fine. They made their choice. And now I was making mine. For once in my life, I wasn't going to be the responsible one. I wasn't going to keep swallowing my pride to hold the family together. I wasn't going to be their backup plan or emotional insurance policy. They'd made it perfectly clear I wasn't their priority. So from that point on, they weren't mine either. I shut off my phone. Let them sit in that shiny new house and keep celebrating without me. I was done. An entire week passed without a single word from any of them. No texts. No calls. At first, I'll admit, it stung more than I wanted it to. Not because I expected them to come chasing after me, but because their silence confirmed something I'd always known deep down. I didn't matter to them. Not really. So I threw myself into work. Focused on me for once. I started hitting the gym, not because of their little gift, but because I needed somewhere to dump all that anger. Every weight I lifted, every step I ran, felt like I was pushing back against years of being overlooked and unappreciated. Then, exactly 7 days after I walked out, my phone lit up. It was my dad. I just stared at the screen for a second, debating whether I even wanted to pick up. Curiosity won out. I answered. What? This time, there wasn't a trace of laughter in his voice. No smugness. Not even a hint of that usual arrogance. Just raw, panicked breathing on the other end. It's your sister, my dad managed to say, totally winded. She lost the house. I furrowed my brow. Lost it? What do you mean, lost it? There was a pause so long I thought maybe the call had dropped. Then came my mom's voice, shaky and urgent. She gambled it away. I nearly dropped the phone right there. She what? She was at one of those private poker nights, Dad said, sounding like he'd aged 10 years in a week. You know how she likes to have fun. But this time, things spiraled. She kept betting more and more. My mom jumped in, her voice cracking. We tried to stop her, but she put up the house. And she lost. I leaned back in my chair, just staring out the window in disbelief. The same house they paraded around like some royal gift from the heavens. The one they used to make me feel like a joke. Gone. Like a puff of smoke. And right there, I felt it, karma, showing up quicker than I ever could have hoped. A slow smirk found its way to my face. Wow, I said, drawing it out. That's tragic. My dad exhaled hard, frustrated. This isn't funny. Isn't it? I said, raising an eyebrow even though he couldn't see me. Because just a week ago, you all were laughing pretty hard. Silence followed. Not the awkward kind. The heavy, choking kind. And then came the moment I knew was coming. We need your help, Dad finally said. I closed my eyes and just let that hang there for a second. The words I'd been waiting to hear my entire life. Not out of pettiness, but out of truth. They needed me. And not because they cared, because they were desperate. She's got nowhere to go, my mom added, her voice all cracked and pleading. We need to fix this. We have to buy it back before it's too late. We just need money, I finished for her. Of course. The missing puzzle piece. They didn't call to say sorry. They didn't call to own up to anything. They called because I was their last option. And for once, the power shift was real and it was mine. I leaned back, let the quiet stretch between us like a rubber band about to snap. Let me make sure I've got this straight, I said calmly. You gave her a fully paid-off house. I got a gym membership. She loses said house in a poker game within a week, and now I'm the one you turn to? She made a mistake, my mom whispered. I shook my head. No. She made a choice. And now you want me to fix it? You don't understand, Dad barked, his usual bark more of a whimper this time. It wasn't just a gift. It was an investment. We were giving her stability, setting her up for the future. I actually laughed out loud. That's rich. So I guess I was just a bad investment, huh? That's not what we meant, Mom rushed to say. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was clear. You didn't even notice when I left. Not a text. Not a call. Nothing. But now that your favorite child messed up, you're blowing up my phone like we're some big, happy team? Son, please, Dad tried again, barely holding it together. The guy who won the house, he's not going to just give it back. We need cash. Fast. Or it's gone for good. And? I said, watching them sink deeper into their own mess. And, my mom continued carefully, like she was stepping on glass, we thought maybe you could help. Just this once. I could practically hear the pride shattering in her throat. The taste of desperation lingering between every syllable. You're always so responsible, Dad added, trying to sweeten it. You always have savings. We figured. Oh, now my responsibility is a good thing? I scoffed. Neither of them said a word. I let the silence marinate. Years of being overlooked. Years of giving and never once being seen. Now here they were looking at me like I was their only lifeline. And maybe I was. But that didn't mean I was going to throw them one. I took a breath. You know what? I said, with a touch of fake lightness. I do have the money. I heard my mom's sharp inhale, like she could already feel hope rising. Oh, thank God, she breathed. But I'm not giving you a dime. Silence. Then my dad, voice tight and angry, you can't be serious. Oh, I'm very serious, I replied, steady and cold. You made your choice. You made it loud and clear. You gave her the world. You laughed in my face. And you never looked back. So now, you get to live with that. But I hung up. And let me tell you, hanging up on them? That was the first time in my life I felt really free. Right after, the phone started buzzing like crazy. Dad. Then Mom. Then, of course, my sister. All three of them, calling nonstop like suddenly I mattered. But I didn't pick up. I didn't text. I didn't even feel bad. For the first time ever, I didn't carry that guilt. That weight. That voice in my head telling me to be the good son. I wasn't their safety net anymore. I wasn't their emotional punching bag or their financial crutch. I was done. I tossed my phone on silent and went on with my day. Worked out. Picked up groceries. Treated myself to a nice dinner and even splurged on dessert. And the whole time, I smiled. Imagining them scrambling to clean up the mess they created. And oh, they scrambled. By the next morning, the guilt tripping began. Texts from Mom, we're family. We help each other. Texts from Dad, you're being ridiculous. This is bigger than just you. But for once, none of it worked. And my personal favorite came from my sister, wow. You're really gonna let me be homeless over one mistake? I actually laughed out loud at that one. Homeless? Like she hadn't just gambled away a whole house she was handed on a silver platter. Like our parents wouldn't bend over backward to cushion her fall the second she so much as tripped. The entitlement was unreal. And the kicker? Not one word in any of those messages said sorry. Not a shred of ownership. Just demands. So, I sent them all a group text. Nothing fancy. Just, you made your choice. Now live with it. And this time, I meant it with every ounce of my being. But if I thought that was the end of it, I clearly didn't know my family as well as I thought, because 2 days later, there was a knock at my door. Loud. Intentional. Not the kind of knock you use when you're just stopping by to chat. I didn't even need to check the peephole. I already knew who it was. For a second, I considered ignoring it. Just letting him stand out there. But then I figured, screw it, let's see what he's got to say for himself. I opened the door, and there he was, my father. But not the usual smug version of him. He looked tired. Worn down. Like reality had finally caught up to him. Can we talk? He asked, already trying to play it cool. I crossed my arms. Talk about what? How I'm the selfish one now because I won't bail you out. How family sticks together, except when it's me who needs something. He sighed hard, like he'd been rehearsing this conversation in his head all morning. Look, I know you're upset. I actually laughed. Upset? That's putting it lightly. He rubbed his face like it physically pained him to be standing there. Fine. You're mad. You think we treated you unfairly. And, maybe we did. That caught me off guard. My old man wasn't the type to admit he was wrong ever. But I didn't drop my guard. Not yet. Oh, so now that you need something, you're ready to admit all that? Where was this honesty last week? Last year? My entire life? He clenched his jaw. For a second, I saw that old flicker of frustration, the kind that said he hated needing me. Hated standing there, asking for help. I'm not here to argue, he finally said. Your sister screwed up. Big time. I don't know what she was thinking, and trust me, she's not getting off easy. I raised an eyebrow. Oh? So no new house waiting in the wings for her? His expression turned sour. We're trying to fix this. But we need money. And you're the only one who can help. There it was. The real reason for the visit. No big revelation. Just desperation dressed up as concern. I leaned against the doorframe, letting the silence stretch out. Letting him stew in it a bit. Then I said, no. His nostrils flared. Think about what you're doing, son. Oh, I have, I said, calm as ever. Let me ask you something. If the roles were reversed, if I had blown everything and needed help, would you be standing here? Would you have come to bail me out? He didn't answer. And that silence said everything. I nodded. Yeah. That's what I thought. You're being petty, he snapped. No, I said, my voice hard now. I'm just finally giving you the same energy you always gave me. And with that, I stepped back and started to shut the door. Good luck fixing your little investment, I said, right before the door clicked shut in his face. I stood there for a second, heart pounding a little, listening to the stillness on the other side. Then I heard him mutter, just loud enough for me to catch it. You'll regret this. I smiled to myself. No. You will. After he left, I expected another round of emotional blackmail, guilt trip texts, maybe even my mom showing up, fake tears in tow. But nope. Radio silence. No calls. No messages. Nothing. At first, I thought maybe they'd finally gotten the message. That I was done. That I wasn't going to be their backup plan anymore. But then I got a message from an old buddy, someone who still kept in touch with the neighborhood grapevine. Dude, he wrote. Just heard from my dad. Your parents are telling everyone you abandoned them. That you're loaded and just letting them suffer. I stared at my phone, let out a bitter little laugh. Of course. When manipulation didn't work, they pivoted to public shame. Out of curiosity, I checked social media. Sure enough, there it was, my sister's signature brand of passive-aggressive pity bait. Some people turn their backs on family when things get tough. It's sad when money matters more than blood. And just like that, the comments started pouring in. Friends, distant cousins, people I hadn't heard from in years, all chiming in with, "You don't deserve this," and "Family's supposed to stick together." Not a single one of them knew the real story. And my family? They weren't sorry. They weren't ashamed. They were just mad they couldn't use me anymore. That was when it really sank in. I was finally free. They had no power left. No strings to pull. No more emotional traps to reel me back in. So, I did the one thing I knew would drive them absolutely nuts. I ignored them. Didn't respond to their pity posts. Didn't call to explain myself. I just let them sit in the wreckage of their own making, watching their golden child's house vanish and their scapegoat walk away. And then, just when I thought the drama had peaked, I got a call from an unknown number. I hesitated, then picked up. Hello? A deep, unfamiliar voice answered. Hey. Is this my name? Yeah, who's this? I'm the guy who won the house off your sister. I sat up straight. Now this was interesting. For a second, I thought I misheard him. Wait, the guy who won the house? Yep, he said, real casual. Name's Brandon. So this guy calls me Brandon, and right away I can tell he's not calling just to chat. He says, "Figured I'd give you a ring. Your sister's been blowing up my phone, begging to buy the house back." Of course she has. He goes on, "Thing is, she doesn't have the money. Now your parents are reaching out, saying you might be willing to help." I almost dropped the phone laughing. "Let me guess," I said, leaning back in my chair. "They told you I'm the rich, heartless son hoarding cash while they're all suffering?" Brandon chuckled. "Pretty much. But I did a little digging before I called." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh yeah?" "Yeah," he said, casual as could be. "Turns out your family's got a habit of expecting you to clean up their screw-ups." I frowned. "How'd you figure that out?" He laughed. "Your sister told me herself. Was rambling about how you've always been the responsible one, how you always swoop in and save the day. Like she's just waiting for you to bail her out again." I clenched my jaw. Yep. That sounded exactly like her. "So," Brandon said, "I figured I'd ask you straight up, are you actually planning to buy this house back? Or are they feeding me a load of crap?" I let out a breath, and this slow, satisfied grin crept across my face. "No, Brandon. I'm not buying the house back." There was a pause. Then he burst out laughing. "Damn. I kinda figured. Let me guess, now that you're not playing along, they're trying to guilt trip me instead?" "Bingo," I said. "They even said we could work something out, which I'm pretty sure means they'll promise to pay me back someday and conveniently forget." I smirked. "Sounds about right." He sighed. "Look, man. I don't even want this house. I don't need it. But I want it fair and square. And I'm not about to get screwed over just 'cause your sister made a dumb bet." "You shouldn't," I said. That's on them. He paused, then said with a little curiosity in his voice, I've been thinking about flipping it. Clean it up, sell it, make a profit. My heart skipped. I could see exactly where he was headed. Or, he continued, I could sell it to someone else. Someone who might actually appreciate it. I leaned forward, grinning. You saying what I think you're saying? Depends, he said with a chuckle. You interested in buying your sister's house? I leaned back, soaking in the irony. Well, Brandon. That depends, what's your asking price? He gave me a number. And I'll admit, it was fair. Guy wasn't trying to rob me, just wanted to make a clean profit and move on. I'll need a couple days to think it over, I said, though deep down, I already knew. No rush, he said. Just figured I'd give you first dibs before I list it. Your sister's gonna lose her mind when she finds out. I chuckled. She'll live. We hung up, and I just sat there, letting it all soak in. I could buy the house. I had the cash. And the best part? It wouldn't be some act of charity. I wouldn't be bailing anyone out. I'd just be making a smart investment, the kind my family always said I was too soft to make. That night, I made my decision. First thing the next morning, I called Brandon back. Let's do it, I told him. He was all in. Said he'd get the paperwork started. And yeah, I'll admit, I couldn't resist twisting the knife just a little. I sent a group text to my parents and sister. Me, just a heads up, I'm buying the house. For myself. Didn't take long. Mom, what? Dad, you can't be serious. Sister, are you kidding me? I leaned back, grinning as the meltdown unfolded in real time. Mom, you're really going to kick your own sister out? Dad, you're taking advantage of a bad situation? Sister, you can't do this to me. I typed back, cool as ever. Me, why not? You did it to yourselves. Boom. Silence. Then my mom tried to backpedal, all desperate. Mom, okay, let's talk. Maybe we can work something out. I shut it down with one final message. Me, there is no we. This was never my mess to fix. I'm just being responsible. You know, like you always told me to be. Right, Dad? After that, nothing. Just dead quiet. I smiled, already picturing the look on their faces. Closing went off without a hitch. Brandon was happy to be done, and I was more than happy to take the keys. As soon as it was official, I sent one last message. Me, just sign the papers. House is mine now. You've got a week to get your stuff. That was it. The silence that followed? Absolutely golden. No more pleading. No sob stories. Just quiet, bitter acceptance. A week later, I drove by to check on the place. There was my sister, red in the face, shoving boxes into her car like a storm cloud about to burst. My parents were there too, not saying a word, not meeting my eyes. I stepped out, hands in my pockets. Need a hand? My sister glared at me. I hope you enjoy your stupid house. I smiled. Oh, I will. And with that, I walked inside, into my house. For once, I was the one holding the cards. And you know what? I didn't feel guilty. Not even a little.